Welcome back to MJL 3764, collecting Elvis on vinyl. Today I thought we'd take a look at another movie soundtrack LP. If anyone saw my last video, I did leave a quote on the end of that video for this next video, and that quote was, "I ought to break you in half." That was a quote from the film. The Elvis quote was, "I ought to break you in half. If you do, you'll have two very short friends," was the answer from Bill Bixby, which narrows it down to two films. It's either Clam Bake or Speedway, for they were the two films that featured Elvis and Bill Bixby. And the movie was, watch out for the zinger, it was Speedway. Here we have some copies of the album Speedway. Of course it was available on video and DVD. Looks like this. It's a DVD. It was also in a box of DVDs featuring 6 Elvis films. This one, the Elvis Collection. That was the first 3 films. And the other 3 featuring Speedway. Of course, I said earlier, this film also featured Bill Bixby, who was in the previous film, Clam Bake, and went on to find success in The Incredible Hulk there in the mid to late 70s, and also went on to host an expose about Elvis after his death. Back to the album. Speedway, issued in 1968, recorded in 1967, was Elvis's last film soundtrack album. That cover looks like that. And this first copy is the mono UK copy on the red dot. Nice album. This album actually on the front of the original doesn't say stereo or mono. You have to reverse the jacket to find out. Still looking for the very good, excellent maybe, copy in stereo on the red dot. I do have a stereo copy, this one being the US copy. Cover's a little beaten up, however the records retains its sheen, very nice, plays very well. Back cover of the US copy in stereo. Move on now. Another copy, this is a German copy. That cover, slight differences. Catalogue number. And printed in Germany on the back. On the orange. Label looks like that. Another German copy here now. It's around 83. That cover, so they've got a barcode. It's on the RCA Black International label. German. Now, I've often said this about all these releases that came out around 82, 83. These sound, if you can pick these up on the new German black, these are some of the best sounding Elvis albums I've heard. In the early 80s, in the UK, Speedway was issued on the green international label. There are 3 variants to this. I have 2 here. Covers just the same. It's the first one. As you can see, it's got side 1 stereo at the top. And one of the variants, you can see it just says side 1 at the top. As I say, there is another slight variant as well to this, which came out around the same time. As you can see, this album on the front says, especially in this album, Nancy Sinatra singing Your Groovy Self. Obviously Nancy Sinatra was a co-star in this picture. Your Groovy Self was written by her then husband, Lee Hazelwood. And it's the first time that the Colonel would let someone else put their name on an Elvis album, especially on the front cover. There's also a duet on here with Elvis and Nancy Sinatra, There Ain't Nothing Like a Song. That was the first as well. Obviously Elvis had recorded a duet with Anne Margaret, The Lady Loves Me, in the film, and also You're the Boss, cut from the film, but these weren't issued till a little later. Looking at the track listing, you got 5 bonus songs. So basically, side 1 is the songs from the film, and side 2, apart from Your Groovy Self, the Nancy Sinatra track, are bonus songs. However, 5 Sleepyheads and Suppose were originally cut for the film, but were left out. Obviously, the 5 Sleepyhead scene is pretty obvious where that track would have turned up in the film. Hopefully it is available on videotape somewhere and we might get to see it someday. But looking at the track listing, not a bad soundtrack in my opinion. Bonus songs are all pretty good. In fact, to pick a favourite from the film, I'd probably pick Let Yourself Go and Speedway. Would probably be my favourite tracks. Of the bonus tracks, probably Western Union, Going Home and Suppose. So, not a bad soundtrack album. Now, there was a single issued from this, so let's take a look at that. Single, Your Time Hasn't Come Yet, Baby. Backed with Let Yourself Go, which I thought was the better side. That's a jukebox copy. This song, I believe, reached number 22 in the UK charts in 1968. And there is a variant, well, there's actually 2 variants to this single that I've seen, which I know for certain exist because I know the collector that has them, but this is the same single. But as I say, there are variants out there to this single, which I'd like to pick up one day, but it's not at the top of my list. But it would be nice to have at least one more variant of this single someday. So there's a few copies of the Speedway album, still a few more for me to collect, so hopefully I can get them in the future. I think it's a good soundtrack album. I think it's quite a good film as well. I think Elvis and Nancy Sinatra play off each other pretty well. This album was issued, as we say, in summer '68, and the album before this, Clambake, was actually issued just about 3 or 4 months before this. And also this year, 1968, Gold Records Volume 4 was issued in the UK. So 3 albums that year for 1968 for Elvis. Talking of Clambake, I think Elvis looks really good in this film. In Clambake, he didn't look his best. Either out of all the films Elvis made, I think Clambake and Paradise Hawaiian Style were the only 2 where he didn't look 100%. But this film, I thought he looked really good and I enjoyed the film. Now, if you wanted to hear Speedway on CD, in 1995, on the double features, it was issued along with Easy Come Easy Go. However, if you really want to hear Speedway on CD sounding as I did on the record, this would not be my choice of CD to go to. For when they did these double feature CDs, they seem to try to bass them up a little bit, and the mix in here is a little bit muddy for my liking. The album was originally quite a tinny recording, but it was very clear, I thought, and this, where they've tried to maybe bring the bass up a little bit, it seems to be a little bit muddy to me. It doesn't sound like the original LP. So if you did want to hear the album as originally you heard it on record on CD, I would go for this one, which is in the 60th anniversary box set. Very nice set, very expensive but well worth it, because that sounds just like it did to me on the original LP. Slightly tinny but very clear. If you're a drummer, the crash cymbals on Speedway to me sound excellent on this track, and the drums in Let Yourself Go as well, crystal clear. So that would be my go-to for the CD. Of course, it's nicely packaged. A nice retro RCA label on the CD, and of course you get the bonus photo, obviously slightly smaller to fit into the CD. Very well done. At the beginning of this video I mentioned that on my last video I gave the line out for this film just to see if anyone could get it right, and I hope I can pronounce this right. Lior B got it right, so congratulations, you know your Elvis stuff. Today that I'm loading this video is 16th of August 2021, the anniversary of Elvis's death, so make sure you play your Elvis records or CDs as loudly as possible tonight. All that remains now is for me to say, just remember, while there's music, life's no waste.